Kagali and Tear had been tailing Jahil, who, despite his immense power, remained oblivious to their presence, either due to arrogance or inexperience. This confirmed Kagali's suspicion that he had only recently awakened his abilities. While they knew they couldn't defeat him alone, careful observation revealed he wasn't invincible. Their pursuit led them to Damargania, where Jahil targeted the demon lord Luminous, an ancient being stronger than Kagali but likely no match for Jahil. Despite the odds, they couldn't abandon Luminous, as her fall would doom humanity to the cryptids. Kagali found it ironic that she now fought for survival rather than revenge. As if sensing her doubt, Luminous reassured them, declaring death was not the end, she would revive them, urging them to fight without fear. With Benimaru and Rimuru's forces yet to arrive, their only option was to endure. Taking these words to heart, Kagali resolved to press on, knowing that while they might not be able to defeat Jahil now, reinforcements would come. But fate had other plans. A blinding beam struck, slicing Tear in two as she shielded Kagali. Horror gripped Kagali before the same scorching heat pierced her chest. As her consciousness slipped, Luminous cast a powerful resurrection spell, enveloping them in mystical light and restoring their broken forms. Yet the moment they revived, Jahil capitalized on their vulnerability, unleashing a devastating punch that sent Luminous hurtling through the air. Luminous was engulfed in flames, the brutal consequence of underestimating Jahil. The gap in power wasn't insurmountable, but her abilities weren't enough to withstand his relentless assault. Worse, her attempt to monitor the battlefield while fighting had been a fatal miscalculation. Though not defeated, Luminous was too powerful to die so easily. She was in a dire position. Her automatic recovery magic kept her standing, and she forced a confident smile, refusing to show weakness. But Jahil wasn't one to be deceived by mere bravado. His laughter echoed across the battlefield as he taunted her, noting her inability to use the technique that had once defeated the sacred ancestor. While he didn't fully understand her powers, he knew she possessed an ability capable of spiritual collapse or complete disintegration. Expecting her to unleash it, he had conserved a portion of his strength to counter, but she never struck. That was when realization dawned. It wasn't hesitation. She simply couldn't use it. At that moment, Jahil was certain of his victory. Resurrected by Luminous, Kagali and Tear quickly grasped the depth of their miscalculation. Jahil's overwhelming power left no room for doubt. Tear, ever sarcastic, suggested retreat as Jahil was focused solely on Luminous. But Kagali refused. Running meant surrendering, condemning them to a hollow existence until the world's end. Instead, she chose to fight, even if it meant dying here. Recalling Laplace and Yuuki's sacrifice, Kagali reaffirmed that survival alone was not enough, it had to have meaning. They wouldn't want their comrades to live in despair. Tear agreed wholeheartedly. Their final moments had to be filled with purpose, or those sacrifices would be in vain. Refusing to let that happen, Kagali gripped the royal scepter of destruction, activating her ultimate enchant, Book of Prophecies, pushing its predictive calculation to its limits. Tear followed, wielding her teardrop scythe and unleashing Orpheus, amplifying her power to the utmost. With unwavering determination, they charged. Tear vowed to avenge Footman, Laplace, and Yuuki, refusing to forgive Jahil for taking what was most precious to her. Their relentless assault forced him to shift his attention from Luminous. While their attacks wouldn't kill him, underestimating them was a risk he wouldn't take. Recognizing their tenacity, he chose to end them swiftly. With a sneer, Jahil conjured a colossal fireball, aiming to incinerate them. But Kagali and Tear had anticipated this. Rather than retreat, they prepared for a decisive, all-or-nothing strike. Just as the fireball surged toward them, a sudden black whirlwind tore through the battlefield, yanking them out of its path. The fireball shot skyward, exploding into searing embers. Regaining their footing, they turned to the figure who had intervened, a woman in a maid's uniform, her dark skin illuminated by the battlefield's glow. Gray braids framed a featureless mask, behind which violet, crystalline eyes gleamed ominously. Jahil, irritated by the interruption, hurled another fireball, but the heartless clown, no face, evaded with fluid precision. Yet, even the residual heat scorched her, a stark reminder of the overwhelming force they faced. Eva stood firm despite Kagali's desperate pleas for her to flee. Once a dark elf who had served Kagali in her royal days, she had remained by Kazarim's side, later operating in secrecy within the moderate clown troupe. After Kazarim and Clayman's deaths, she had withdrawn from the world, living as a dark elf elder until now. The looming catastrophe had compelled her to cast aside her mission and protect Kagali, even at the cost of her own life. Unlike the Deathman, she had no means of resurrection. Yet, she welcomed this fight, knowing she could at least buy them time. Jahil, unimpressed, chose efficiency over effort. Rather than target Eva directly, he expanded his flames to engulf the entire battlefield, ensuring no escape. As fire consumed Eva's mask, revealing her face, she smiled serenely. But Jahil sneered. It was the same mistake Yuuki and Laplace had made, throwing away their lives for others. Now, Kagali and Tear were doing the same. Their fate was sealed. His fireball, infused with the divine progenitor's blood spear, surged forward, a sphere of annihilation meant to reduce them to nothing. Even Luminous's revival magic would struggle to undo such destruction. It was supposed to be the end, but something went wrong. Just as the fireball reached its peak, it simply vanished with a faint, sorrowful sound. Jahil's eyes widened in disbelief. The battlefield, once on the brink of incineration, was left untouched. Steam drifted through the air, and beyond it, a figure moved. Kagali and the others stood unharmed.